Number 6. I'm going to try to keep this one short. Let's see if you guys like that better. Last one I went a little bit longer on the random stuff because I was talking to my girlfriend and we had a funny story. Check it out if you guys want to listen to my girlfriend speak. Starting with combat sports today. Have you guys been listening to Dana White criticizing Oscar De La Hoya? So there is a feud between Dana White and Oscar De La Hoya, as most of you guys know. But he actually went really hard on Yahoo Sports. He's been calling De La Hoya a cokehead, weirdo, liar, and a phony. And he's really just mad about the Chuck Liddell and Tito fight. He's been saying he called up Chuck Liddell and Chuck confirmed that he made less money from that fight than his UFC salary when he didn't have to fight. Wow. So the figures, Dana White actually backed up his talk and he actually released what UFC paid Chuck Liddell in response to De La Hoya calling him out too. So starting from 2011 to 2018, he actually paid him $2.7 million. And just in 2018 alone, with no fights, with just royalties, he paid him $14,000. Wow. So he paid Tito from UFC 66, just from UFC 66, he paid Tito $2 million. He paid Chuck $2.8 million just from UFC 66. UFC 88, 97, 115, all combined, he paid Chuck minimum $8.1 million. So every fight, 88, 97, 115, he paid Chuck $2.7 million. And he paid Tito 133, 140, 148. He paid him total of $5.1 million, 1.7 each fight. That is a crazy amount of number. And the drama between Dana and Oscar De La Hoya, it's been pretty crazy. He's been going pretty hard for Oscar De La Hoya, and it's been pretty entertaining to watch. I'm gonna post the number that Dana White talked about and the feud between Oscar De La Hoya and Dana White. So in relation to more breaking news relating to UFC, UFC backed out of 11 Sports deal and they're staying with BT Sports deal as far as England goes. So because of that, 11 Sports is actually in the risk of closure. Wow. 11 Sports is considering pulling the plug on its UK operation after UFC triggered the exit clause in exclusive deal, which was to begin in January. This was from the article written by Christopher Williams of The Telegraph. Some people are saying the BT Sports deal is going to be better because 11 Sports is kind of like Netflix of sports. You have to subscribe and pay a subscription fee. But BT Sports, I believe, is public access. So I'm also going to post some of the opinions that people have in relations to this move that UFC is doing. And the article by Mr. Christopher Williams. Outside of UFC, Road FC fighter and former WGP kickboxing champion Barbara Nepomuceno will face off against Gabi Garcia in Rizin 14. I'm going to post a knockout that she did, and it's pretty cool. The hook, right hook to knock out on the opponent is pretty impressive. But I'll be interested in knowing what you guys think of Gabi Garcia versus Barbara in Rizin 14. It looks like Barbara is not at her weight. Gabi is massive right now. I'm if I had to make a prediction, I would say Gabi wins by submission, knowing that Barbara is such an amazing stand-up artist. I would say Gabi takes her down immediately and then grounds and pounds her until the submission happens in, I would say, the second round. First round, I would say Barbara catches her a couple times, catches Gabi a couple times, and Gabi just immediately takes her down, grinds her out, and submits her on the second round. So recently I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast with TJ and Dwayne, and they were talking about the ref system in the UFC and how it's a little flawed. They were also talking about combat sports in general. But obviously UFC has a huge issue because there are so many wrong decisions that people generally agree on. It's not because some of the decisions that judges make, obviously judging is subjective, but there are fights when judges made a call that most people agree that was the wrong call. And there is an issue with the UFC, and the names that most people will throw around as being the worst judges would be Steve Mazzagatti, Dan Miragliotta, Mario Yamazaki, with that fucking heart that he throws up every time. And I think it's very important, like Joe Rogan and TJ and Dwayne talks about, that the ref has at least some knowledge and some expertise in MMA or jiu-jitsu or striking. Like you can see Herb Dean, he actually competed in MMA, and I'm gonna post a video of him submitting Randy Helmut at Gladiator Challenge number 6, and it's, you gotta be able to know, you gotta be able to understand different positions, you gotta understand how important certain position is in BJJ. It might look like the bottom person is in a worse position, but some people are really good on the bottom. Some people have an amazing open guard game, closed guard game, back game. And I feel like some of the judges don't understand that, and they need to be educated, and I feel like they need to be held responsible for their actions. Just like Joe Rogan talked about, I don't think this is any controversial opinion. I do think the judges need to be held responsible for their actions. They should either be fined, they should have a track record that need to be evaluated maybe once a year or a couple times a year, so they don't keep the bad judges in circulation. Like Mario, personal opinion, a lot of people do agree that Mario shouldn't be judging in the UFC, because look at the recent fights where he just let the punches go for way too long and had the fighters take way too much damage. That shouldn't be happening. And once you do that a couple times as a judge, you shouldn't really be judging. And I don't think my opinion is really out of the ordinary. I think a lot of fighters, a lot of fans, even casual fans, have this opinion. And I just don't understand why there's no change happening with the judging system in the UFC. Who knows? Something that'll happen in the future. And something that I've been really interested in is Mr. Uncle Creepy, Ian McCall. A lot of people know, but some of you casual fans might not know that Ian McCall is the most unluckiest fighter of all time. Most recently, he lost a TKO to Kyoji Hiroguchi, but before that, and his track record is insane. The bad luck that follows this guy is incredible. So it starts in 2013. So this is an article written by Seamus Rafferty, at Seamus Rafferty on Twitter. So give him credit. This is Pundit Arena website. So it starts in 2013. Injuries forced him to withdraw from Scott Jorgensen and Brad Pickett in December 2013 and March of 14. right? So he finally get into a cage with Pickett in 14, and he picked up a decision win. All right, and that's pretty much the last time he had normal luck. Starting from there, everything goes to shit. January 15, John Lineker comes in 4 pounds overweight before earning decision win at McCall at 183. And then, despite being scheduled to compete on many occasions, he didn't make it to an actual fight until, let's see, 2016, July 30th. Wow. He saw bouts with Dustin Ortiz, Justin Scoggins, Ray Borg, Neil Seery, and Jared Brooks. All fell apart. Those fights never happened. Jesus. And then so this is a period of, so I'm going to list out the dates and what happened. 15, August, fight with Dustin Ortiz, McCall gets injured. 16, July 30th, Justin Scoggins weight cut issues, never happened. 16, Ray Borg illness, never happened. 16 again, Neil Seery, McCall illness, never happened. 17, Neil Seery withdrew, never happened. 17, again, Jared Brooks, McCall illness, never happened. And then 17 in Rizin, and he lost TKO because of a cut from a rope. He got cut from a rope, caused him TKO. Too much bleeding, doctor stoppage, I believe. Insane. Just check out his track record and check out his bad luck and everything really going wrong for this man since 17 to right now, honestly. And that kind of sums it up for combat sports for number 6. So food, instead of doing a restaurant review, little fact of the day, that's something that I've been wondering, and maybe you guys have been wondering, something that I've been wanting to share with you guys. Difference between cake and muffin. What is the difference between cake and muffin? So pretty much, they are the same thing. But muffins have more or less same ingredients used in cakes, but the proportion is different. There is more flour, more liquid, less sugar, and fat in muffin batter. And most cakes need 2 or more eggs, but muffins use only 1. So muffins are pretty much cakes, different proportions. That's what makes it so much denser and sometimes like moist. So muffin is heavier nutrition-wise than a cake. Little fact of the day on the food side. Let me know if you guys like the fact of the day. Let me know if you guys like the difference in food groups. I have other ones that I've been wondering, that I've researched, that I wanted to share with you guys, or whether you guys like the restaurant reviews. Because God knows I eat all the time, and I have restaurants that I would love to talk about. And as far as random stuff goes, what is up with people not giving a shit on crosswalks in New York, man? I get it in New York City. Everyone's busy. There's a bunch of crosswalks everywhere, and there's not enough cars. So people jaywalk all the time. So I get it. I do the same thing. But I'm in Syracuse, right? And there's so many cars here. It's a driving town. It's like a small, I think it is one of the biggest New York cities, but compared to New York City, it's a small, like, I don't want to say suburban, but like a small metropolitan area with a lot of cars. So there's a lot of cars going around, and obviously there's a lot of crosswalks, but it's not a city that you should be jaywalking, really. But you see people jaywalking. Not only that, you see people jaywalking and not giving a shit about cars. People will just start walking across the street when it's red light and just not even look at you. It's green for me, red for them. Cars coming, I'm driving down the street, right? And they just start crossing, not even look at you, don't give a shit, expect you to stop. And they usually have the audacity to raise their hand or look at you really long time, not even raise a hand or, like make a thank you gesture to you. And I've found that really, really weird, especially in Syracuse. People just don't give a shit about cars. Are you not scared that you're going to be hit by a car crossing a crosswalk? I do not trust drivers at all. Because drivers here are pretty bad too. It snows a lot here. I'm sure a lot of you guys know. It really snows a lot. And people drive like crazy people on ice. People drive like crazy people when it's snowing. And even when it's not snowing, people drive way too fast, way too crazy. Just overall bad driving right here. Just imagine New York City driving in Syracuse when there's no need for that kind of driving. I don't trust drivers here. How could you cross the street without looking at the car and not give a shit about your life being in danger? I'm scared. Being in a car covered in 5,000 pounds of metal. I'm still scared. I can't imagine crossing the street and not looking either side of that someone's gonna literally just run over me. I don't know. I don't understand personally. Anyway, moving on. I recently watched a movie with Ralph Fiennes. Fiennes. I'm not quite sure how to say his last name. I think the movie was called Doris and something. It's about Ralph Fiennes being a butler for a very affluent woman. And this woman leaves all her money to the butler. And it was a great movie. Check it out if you guys have some time. It's on Amazon Prime. It's free. So, also, I watch American Horror Story. I'm actually just on season 2. I know it's on like season 8. I just started watching it. On season 2, his brother is on there as Monsignor. And I thought it was Ralph, but that kind of made me curious about the brother relationship because I just figured out that they're brothers. Obviously, them looking very similar to each other didn't give it away for me. But I looked into their family, and they have one of the craziest families of all time. Not to mention, those two brothers are actors, right, Phineas? But they're cousins with the British royal family, right? And just in their immediate family, it's pretty crazy too. Just in their immediate family, their sister, Martha Phineas, is a film director. Her son, Martha's son, Hero, is an actor. Magnus Phineas is a composer. Sophie Phineas is a film director. And it's just crazy. Mark Phineas, their father, is a photographer, illustrator, married to Jennifer Lash, novelist and painter. Incredible. And I think their actual entire family name is Twistleton Wykeham Phineas Bayonets. And they're pretty much like this British family with incredible history. So I think it's worth looking at it. It's pretty crazy how influential and how related they are to all these people. Like, there's some politicians in there, there's author, there's artists, a bunch of artists. Obviously they're related to the royal family. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I found it interesting, and I'm gonna stop myself from going on too long on the random stuff and the side stuff, such as food stuff. So I'm gonna cut myself off short today. Let me know if you guys like the longer podcast or the shorter podcast, because I like both. I don't mind sitting here and talking about stuff that interests me. I also liked longer podcasts when I was listening to podcasts, but right now I like shorter podcasts too. So let me know in the comment section what you guys like, what you guys prefer. And that's it for today. Thank you guys for listening. Comment, like, and subscribe. Also, I recently posted some training videos from Taikai BJJ, where I train out of in Syracuse. Amanda is nice enough to post all the training videos, and Ben is nice enough to let us record all our sessions. So check those out, and like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you guys think of my podcast and what I've been doing with my channel. And see